Hey guys, welcome back. Well, we're back at the skirting again. I got some work done in the shed, which I'll show you maybe a little bit later. But we did get some of that organized and cleaned up. Well, guys, I thought I'd take you down to the shed, kind of show you. We got a stack, forget the canvas, because I'm going to try to see if I can use that. Otherwise, there's another pallet of canvas there to cover these bays up. We're going to get it, but as you can see, we got a lot better organized than what it was. We got all our slab boards that we've milled. We got all our plywood that's been left over from construction and stuff that we've accumulated. Our foam panels, those 1/2 inch foam, are going to go on the floor, under the floor. These 1.5 inch, we're going to do some stuff on the wall and on the close the door in for the basement. And then you can see, I'll try to walk in a little bit here, but I didn't show a lot of before because honestly it was actually embarrassing because it was so messy down here just because we threw everything in. But, you know, we got some cabinetry and some miscellaneous stuff there. We got a bunch, 2 pallets, rows of windows, some furniture that we wanted to get back in out of the weather. And we got the boat in here for the winter, which is great because it was filling up with snow and ice already. And I don't want the boat to get wrecked. And we got the trailer in here, which was huge. We haven't been able to get the trailer in here since we moved, and the trailer's full of stuff that we're using for storage. It's rodent tight, so anything we don't want mice to get to that can stay out in the cold, we've left in the trailer, like some extra clothes, jackets, things like that. And then you can see these 2 bays are fairly open. We got stuff to organize yet, but move our waste oil bin and that's our diesel fuel, which is empty. I'm not looking forward to having to fill that again, but I will. But yeah, so we're going to get these 2 bays cleaned up. The hope is get some of this insulation out of here. That insulation will get used up in the floor. Some of that will get used up in the floor. But what we'd like to do is get our old Ford Sport Trek out of here and actually in the shed. I mean, it's starting to sink into the ground because of the weight. The ground's so soft. But so that's what I'm hoping to put in this bay right here. Reorganize it, get that truck in here, and then I'm hoping to clear from, well, it's hard to see from that angle. I'm hoping to clear from the metal shelf out so that we can at least back the loader in that bay, and that bay will stay open for the winter. Then we'll leave it open. If it gets a little snow in there, not a big deal, but at least then and then we're going to close off the front of these other sides, so it'll be as weather tight as we can make it. So, but as you can see, we still got a mess to back there clean up. It's somewhat organized, but I haven't done anything with this corner yet. I got to get rid of this old insulation. Unfortunately, we got 2 bags of insulation in here that, unfortunately, they got water in them, so they're ruined. And they got weathered. You can see the insulation's weathered. I'm not even going to use it. That'll end up having to go and get, not recycled, but the dump probably. So, but we'll work on getting that cleaned up, trying to finish this up. And so we can get the loader in. I can take the forks for the loader, park them in front of the trailer because I don't use them very often and much. Snow blower we'll probably put in the trailer or in front of the trailer for now. We won't use it this winter probably. We're gonna see. We didn't use it the last winter at all. Previous winter we used it, but we didn't have the loader. Now that we have the loader, we'll probably end up using that for clearing snow, just because that tends to pick up rocks. And we'll hang on to it because we'll use it at some point once we establish, we get our landscaping done, we get some of our deck work done, all our addition work done. We're going to have some concrete work done as well. Get a couple sidewalks put in, that type of stuff. So we'll use it for keeping that stuff clear. But I thought I'd give you an update of where that is. So this was huge, to be able to get our stuff inside. We do have this, but as you can see, this was left here. It's already had some collapsing done. It's not very sturdy. We'd have to put boards underneath it or something to reinforce it. So we decided we could put a tarp on it and put some more stuff underneath here, but like a lot of those chairs were left here. So that we're not too worried about it, but we're gonna try to get that cleaned up, and because this will be where we'll be parking the dump truck, so we'll get rid of this portable shelter. We'll figure out what we're going to do with it for permanent. We might use it as a temporary greenhouse in the spring, but we'll just see how it goes. But that's kind of where we're at there. Got things cleaned up, a lot of snow melted, and hopefully next year we'll be able to build a lean-to off the back of the shed for the sawmill and a place to actually store our slab wood, so that we could actually, we're actually hoping as our projects continue, that bay there with the slab wood and the insulation and all that in it, that'll get emptied out and be open to put more of our implements and things like that. You know, we do have our grapple that's sitting over there on the edge, you know, and eventually we'll probably move the shipping container over here, and then look at down the road adding another one and then put a roof between the two. That birch will probably have to come down at some point just because of its proximity to the stuff that we're putting in. We're going to leave the big one there because it's such a beautiful tree. As long as it's healthy, I don't want to take any more trees down. But we got to we got to have a 50-foot perimeter around this shed for fire. You know, if there ever is, you know, God forbid, a forest fire, that we at least protect it. I mean, we have enough around our house, as you can see. So our house is pretty well protected. We don't have to worry about that. And this will all be kept mowed. I mean, it's quite a big area to mow, but we're going to do some landscaping, some other stuff there, fire pits, some other things. But this will at least be open. And then we're going to take this group of trees here down, you know, basically 50 feet out. And then we'll go about 60 feet out the back of the shed just to make room, because our addition for the sawmill will probably be about 10 to 12 feet. So we'll clear that out. So a lot of these are smaller trees. We'll use them for firewood. If we can get any lumber out of them, we'll mill them up for lumber, what we can get out of them. But we'll just clear that 50-foot perimeter all the way around and be done with it. And you can kind of see, actually quite a few of them already have red X's on it. So all the ones that are painted are going to come out because those are in that perimeter. So that's kind of to give you an idea. You can see that little one right there. Where am I? Right there. From there all the way over to the shed will get cleared out. So we'll do work on that. That'll be some project for next year. We're not going to work on it this year. So, but I'm going to get back to doing that skirting up there, but I'm going to grab some insulation since I'm down here and carry it up to the house because I'll need it at some point. So we'll be back. On the back side, we're on the back side of the house right now and work on getting the skirting done on this side. We were going to do underneath. You can see, I didn't get to show this from the other side, but you can see how we got insulation here, and then on the far side there's foam. Problem is where that foam is, it's not thick enough insulation. It's only like R11 that we just had laying around when we bought the place that was left here. So we're going to take that down and put actual R19 in the floor because these are 2x6 floor joists, and you can kind of see how he framed it. It's basically 4 feet beams, and then he's got cross pieces going every 2 feet to the center beam. So it's going to take a little bit of work, which is fine. We knew that. And then we'll have some cleanup work to do under here, but I figured this can be done really at any time. Once the snow flies, it's harder to get underneath here. So I didn't want to do it, you know, focus on that. I got to do some electrical work under here. I'm going to be putting a few LED lights down here so that if we do have to be under here and do some work, that we can actually get to stuff. So that's kind of going to be the project for another day. But for now, we're just trying to get it, you know, semi-winterized for the winter. Get this, at least half of the house closed up. And work on that. So we'll see how far. I can only go as far as that propane tank line is going to be. You can kind of see the line coming from the tank up. So just about halfway between the faucet and the end of the board, we'll be able to go to that post basically, or somewhere around there. So we'll see where we end up. I have enough steel to go all the way to the corner. I just don't want to close that in until I have my permanent gas lines in. This is temporary and we're running off a tank. And eventually we're going to try to get this 100-pounder going. But that was here, but I got to get a different fitting for that, different regulator. So we're going to try to get that cleaned up and get that switched over too. But we'll see how it goes. So here we go. I was not paying attention to my phone, and my phone did not record any of this. So my apologies, but we're on the back side of the house. And I got the steel 2 there. And I can go 2 more spaces before, well, 1.5. So 3 more pieces basically before I kind of have to stop and figure out what I'm going to do for my gas line and such, and if I can get it around the other side and finish that end. I know I'm not going to get the corner done. I mean, I have enough to go to the corner, but I just didn't I didn't plan on doing any of that because of the gas line, like I said, for that propane tank is sitting there. So, but this is what I got done for today, and we're going to pack it up out here because the sun is starting to get to the treetops, and of course, unfortunately, this time of year it gets dark quick. So I'm gonna work on getting this done tomorrow, finish this up, and get this closed up as much as it's gonna be for the winter. This should make a huge difference, you know, in keeping the wind out. I mean, I'll kind of show you the side here. I mean, the plywood already kind of does that here, but we got to put a rim joist in for the deck, and I'm not ready to do that because it's going to come out 4 more feet. So I want it to span halfway. So I'll do, you know, what is this, 24? So I'll do 2 12-footers that'll come across from the middle out, and then that way it kind of helps span this 4-foot walkway that's going to come over here. That 4-foot walkway will carry around to that corner, and it'll wrap around the house. I'm not going to do a full walk around, but it'll wrap around and go to another 4-foot walkway all the way across. On the other side, we planned, on the other side opposite of this wall, we plan on doing, for the bedroom there, we're going to do a door, an exterior door, like not a French door, but kind of like a glass insulated door to go out onto a small deck on that end, kind of like a 6-foot, 8-foot deep deck across that side of the house, so that we can go out and, you know, sit out there and get the sun in the morning and just kind of have a place to sit, and we're going to cover it. So what'll happen is this walkway here, when this is done, we'll carry the roof, and we're going to redo the roof because the roof isn't in the best of shape, but we're going to go all the way up and carry it down to the outside. So the roof will actually come all the way out over the walkway and extend about 1 foot past the walkway. And then we'll soffit that whole top of that whole walkway. We'll make a small roof over the walkway on this side that'll attach to this side of the house. This is part of the reason why that isn't house wrapped yet, because I want to be able to see where I'm attaching to, and you can't see that behind the house wrap. So there'll be a small roof there and then a small carryover from that. So if all works well, like we're hoping, we can put some of our solar panels on that walkway roof instead of having them all up there, so that, because those we won't be able to get to clean off when we go way up there, but these we can. So, and these will catch our afternoon sun. As you can see, the afternoon sun is shining this side of the house, and the panels, here I'll show you, because in the afternoon, especially this time of year, the panels are already covered with shade. Let's see how far out I gotta walk. But you can see there's no sun hitting these panels. So, I mean, we're not getting any solar charge or anything to carry on. Where if we at least got it on that side of the house, we get this afternoon sun, because in the summertime, the sun comes a little bit over there more before it sets. So we'd get a lot more production of solar charger batteries, especially in the wintertime. Like I said, you could see, I'll walk back around here. You can see how the sun is hitting that. I mean, granted, the trees, it's low in the horizon, but we could have been, for the last 2 hours, been getting sun, at least on these panels here. And they're going to be deep enough that we could go probably 9 panels across that roof. And we may not, if things go kind of like we're possibly anticipating, we may not put any panels on the addition roof at all. We'll put them on this walkway, and maybe put a couple on this side, a couple on the bump out, when we do that bump out on the other side. So But I don't know if I'm going to get anything else done. I'm done outside. I'm going to see what I'm going to work on inside, so I might do some electrical work and get under the crawl space. So if I do, I'll try to get some video of that. If it's too dark, then we'll just kind of give you a synopsis tomorrow of what we got done. So we'll be back. I didn't film much today, but I wanted to show you the progress. The wind has kind of been gusty today, and the camera, I should say my phone, ended up in the mud multiple times. And I'll show you what I mean. So all this area, you can kind of see, this all froze. And you can see already that, you know, I'm just sinking in. I'm stepping in the driest area I can find, but I mean, that's all packed in, muddy. So I got some cleanup to do on the tools, but I just wanted to show you what we got this whole side done as far as we're going to do for the winter. All the way through to where our tank is. And like I said, we've had that 100-pound tank. We just haven't been using it. We've been actually using that 20-pounder. But since I got that tank moved out of the way and hooked up, that's our stove connection. And then I just screwed that board to the side of the house, because what happens is the water drips off, lands right on the tank, and it gets full of ice. So this way I can still get to the valve if I need to turn it off, and any water that drips down will shed the board and come down. I'm not worried about the board. It's just a scrap for now. But that'll do for now until we get the permanent location. We haven't decided where we're going to put that yet. My guess is it'll go on the other side of the house towards the woodshed. We'll put those tanks there and create sometime a little box for them or something to hide them in. Our hope is to have 3 of those tanks be our propane supply. We don't use enough with our water heater and our stove. We don't heat with anything propane. So, I mean, we go through about a 20-pound tank a month. So we're going to use that for now. And then eventually we'll get rid of our water. When our water heater goes, we'll replace it with an electric on demand. But because we don't have enough solar, we can't do that yet. So, but I'm going to get this corner cleaned up, close it in with some plywood for now. And then we'll look at finishing the rest of this. I ended up with a few sheets left, but I've had to chase them across the yard a couple times. That's how windy it's been. It's been flipped them over. If I don't keep anything on it, the wind catches it and goes. So I'm going to get those out of the way here. Clean up some of this plastic and debris that's been left from over the years. That's what used to hold house or cover this, was plastic. So now this is insulated and covered with the steel, the galvanized steel. So we shouldn't have to do anything more with this in the future. We'll do the same with the end down here at some point. We'll do that, and then I just got to find some galvanized corners. Oh, I'm slipping in the mud. And we'll get that cleaned up, but we'll burn that wood in the fire pit next year, which will go on the other side of Shadow over there, kind of about another 10 feet from him over that way. We'll get the fire pit going, so that we got our high point will be our fire pit. So, and then our deck will stretch out over from this end all the way out to about where the barrel is. Oh, thanks, Copper. You really got to do that there on Jody's garden. Well, thankfully that won't be the garden next year. If not, if it is, a little fertilizer. But yeah, this is done. So because we got more work to do here, we don't want to carry it any farther. But that's huge. That at least gets us to there. Gets it all cleaned up. Now next year we'll continue that all once we get the rim joist around for the walkway. We'll carry that steel all the way around the whole addition. So that'll basically be that'll be right below the rim joist of the walkway all the way around the house, and on the other side it'll just be below the siding. So, but I think I'm going to go down and work in the shed. I won't film much of that, but that's where we're at for today so far. Well, that's going to be it for this week. Didn't get as much done as I'd like, but I think we're got to do is work on the house wrap. The wind kind of blew some of it loose on the one end, on the far end, back end of the house, so I got to get that back up, and I think after that we're going to work on some electrical, and the dogs are playing in the background. Do some electrical work and get some of that going and get that stabilized. We need ground rods in the ground, which has been something that we've been wanting to do for a while, and I've been just procrastinating on it. So I got that done. I got to run the ground line back to the panel, and then run some electric and some lights for the basement so I can get the basement sealed up. So that'll be kind of what I'll be working on next, is the electrical, so I can get the door closed to the basement crawl space and get that finished insulated. and button up the basement the rest of the way. And got some caulking. I think we're going to do, not caulking, but foam sealers we're going to put in there to kind of keep everything sealed up. But so we'll kind of get that started. But that'll be it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.